Something that I got back at the holidays as a gift that I've really been enjoying a lot over the past couple months has actually been a Fire tablet. Now, if you're familiar with these, of course, they're made by Amazon and they run a modified version of Android, and they're something that you've probably normally seen used by younger kids or maybe your grandparents, and you may have an idea of the fact that, well, these used to be marketed as the Kindle, as an ebook reader, and they've now kind of evolved into just being branded as a tablet. And of course, they still have that ebook reader functionality. Now they run a modified version of Android, just kind of like an Amazon skin over the top of it that's going to force you into using the Amazon App Store rather than the traditional Google Play. You can sideload applications. You can just find Android applications online. If you're familiar with having played Fortnite on your Android phone, you probably already have an idea of how this is done, just by going to a website. But ultimately, what you can do, if you take the time to do it, and it really doesn't take very long, I spent maybe 20 minutes tops on this, you can get one of these inexpensive Fire tablets up and running to look like really just any old Android device. I mean, I kind of set mine up a lot like my phone, and ultimately I use it to do a lot of tasks that I would otherwise do on my phone, but I find easier to do on a larger screen. Things like, watching different media content, YouTube, Netflix, Hulu, things like that while I'm at home. And I don't want to take out my phone because ultimately the tablet's a lot bigger screen. I mean, these things do come with 8 or 10-inch screens depending on which model you get. And then I've also from time to time played games on it, and of course I've read on it. So I found a lot of different uses for this little device if you get it up and running the way that I did, which I think gives you a tremendous amount of flexibility compared to how limited it is out of the box. So I want to talk today about a utility called the Fire Toolbox. Now I'll have this link down in the description. This is off XDA Developers. I use this. It seems like a very straightforward and simple to use application. Basically, all you have to do is plug your Fire tablet into your computer using the included USB cable that you typically use to charge it. Open up this application, and it's going to walk you through a variety of different things that it can do to your device just straight through that USB connection. You don't even have to even do anything on the tablet. Once you get it connected, you're able to actually access all these settings and do some really cool things. For instance, I think the main reason why someone would want to use this toolbox is to install the Google Play Store as well as the other Google Core Service applications that are missing traditionally from these tablets. So by doing so, again, I was able to install the Google Play Store, and from there I was able to install just really a huge plethora of apps that otherwise I would not have had access to because the Amazon App Store is just so limited. Now, you can even install different launchers, which if you're familiar with Android, that's kind of like the whole home screen layout, of which, I think Amazon's using its own launcher on the regular one, but you're able to override that and install something cool like, for instance, Lawnchair. Straight from this Lawnchair, it's the launcher that I use on my phone. It's the launcher that I now use on this. So you can even remove the advertising. One of the things that makes the Fire tablet be so cheap is the fact that it includes advertising every single time you unlock it. But using this application, you can actually remove that. Doing so will void your warranty, but then you won't see those annoying advertisements every single time you unlock your device. Like I mentioned before, I've been watching those things you typically think of, Hulu, Netflix, YouTube, things like that on it, but I also downloaded an app recently called Locast, which I'll have linked down in the description as well. It's only available in certain territories, but what Locast is, it's basically they bring an antenna TV signal over the internet. So if you could theoretically watch the TV channel on an antenna strapped onto the top of your home, then you could watch it instead without the antenna over the internet via the Locast app. Now I will say that they do ask for a donation of $5 a month to use the app. They don't require it. And then of course there's a built-in ebook reader, but there's other ones that you can download. There's a wide variety out there. And if you're into reading older video game magazines like I was, I made an entire video about that I'll have linked here on the end card. There's just tons of retro video game magazine scans out there that are in PDF format or some other formats that I think magazines use. And there's different readers you can download in the Google Play Store to view those as well. And additionally, yes, I did say I've been doing some gaming on it. Now, what I've mainly been playing is the Pokemon trading card game, which unfortunately has never been available for Android phones. It's always required a larger display, so it's only been available for tablets. And then of course they have the computer version that I made videos on a few years ago as well. And I have enjoyed getting back into playing that and being able to use the touchscreen versus playing it on my computer with the mouse. But that's not very graphically intensive of a game, so it does actually run pretty well. On the more graphically intensive side, if I really wanted to push the Fire tablet, I have tried playing COD Mobile on it. It runs at the lowest graphics settings. Some maps are a little bit choppier than others, but for the most part, it's a good experience. I would definitely say it's playable. I wouldn't find it to be necessarily as enjoyable as it is on my phone because the screen's almost too large to necessarily maneuver in a very good fashion. Maybe I don't have big enough thumbs, but it just seems like it's a lot to kind of maneuver. And maybe I got to mess around more with the layout of the on-screen button mapping. So when you consider the price, I really don't think you can go wrong with the Fire tablet. And when you compare it to a video game system like a handheld, you could get around the same price, say a used Nintendo DS. I think that the Fire tablet actually has the edge. I can tell you, obviously, the games aren't going to be as good, but it's just an overall well-rounded media device. There's so many things you can do with this, like you can do with really any Android device, that I think your opportunities are just endless. And of course there's opportunities to play emulators on it. I don't know how well some of the tougher stuff like the Nintendo 64 or the PlayStation 1 run on a Fire tablet. I probably wouldn't count it to run very well, quite honestly, but things like the Super Nintendo or the Game Boy Advance I would think should, if you want to get into that sort of stuff on it. But for the most part, I'd probably stick to playing some more laid back mobile games. Like I said, Call of Duty Mobile might be a little bit too much to do on such a big screen, but there's just so much media that I think we watch throughout the day where you're stuck either watching it on your little phone or you're watching it on a big TV. And this is kind of that nice intermediate point. Of course, you want to take advantage of most of those features, you're going to need to get the Fire Toolbox that I mentioned. I'll have a link down in the description. Get that installed, try running it. Heck, maybe if you've got a Fire tablet laying around already, it's a few generations old, it may be compatible with this Toolbox. Definitely give it a try, and I think you'll find that you go from having a device that's limited, held down by advertisements that Amazon bogs onto it, and instead you end up with something that's much more open and really just similar to an out-of-the-box Android phone. So thank you guys for watching. I'm Bailey, and I will see you in the next video.